Hi, welcome to the Mystery Recap. Today, I am going to explain a movie based on the real-life story of the youngest warrior of World War II called Soldier Boy. The film begins in Russia, where a family, all three are enjoying their time sitting on the banks of the river. The youngest of them, Seryozha Aleshkov. Here he is on top of a tree and the elder brother and mother look at him. Then suddenly, a German fighter comes towards them, and the mother tells her children to hide in the bushes. But the 6-year-old claims he is not scared and shoots the jet with a slingshot. He manages to hit the jets and detonate them. But when he looked around, he saw that his family had gone. And after that we come to know that it was a dream. Sergei wakes up from the dream and calls his mother. Then someone knocks on his door, and he runs towards her, assuming that it is his mother, but a neighbor woman comes in panic. She thanks God for keeping him alive, and informs him that his mother and brother are dead. The little boy does not understand what he is saying, and he wants to stay at home so that he can wait for his mother. But the woman tells him that the Germans have attacked him and he must flee. Then some soldiers reached his house, and the woman drives Sergei away from the window. But before the woman can leave, she is shot. Now that 6-year-old little one is now on his own, with no family and friends. As Sergei runs away from the house, he sees that his whole neighborhood is burning after him. He calls out to his mother and runs away. After running for a while, he stops in the middle of the forest. And that little child starts calling his mother to come and take him, because he is lost. And that night he also stays in the forest. The next morning, we see him drinking water from a river. And then he sees that enemy soldiers come in his way. Sergei, knowing that they are dangerous, quickly hides inside the roots of a tree. But then a snake comes to him, he is shocked, but he does not utter a word and does not even run away from him. Because Sergei is more afraid of soldiers than snakes. And the soldiers eat something on the bank of the river and leave. After which Sergei takes his leftover food and eats it at night. However, by the end of the day, the little boy is tired. He has not eaten properly for 2 days. And running without any destination. Because of this, he falls but does not stop walking. Here on his way he sees wild berries and goes to eat them. But then, there is a bang behind him. The boy feels dizzy and begins to mislead anyone who follows him. However, even in such circumstances, he stands up bravely and tells the person that he has a rifle and is not scared. He limps forward. But after a while, he faints. While he is sleeping, 2 soldiers come to him. And then the scene cuts to the Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov waits for his patrol soldiers. And they come with that little kid, who is injured and weak. When the soldiers tell him they are on his side, the little boy gets up and introduces himself. And the soldiers laugh when the child shakes hands with the commander, and suggests that he introduce himself as well. He feels affection with the soldiers. Soldiers give him water and also feed him. Even the cold commander takes care of the child. In the next scene, a nurse named Katya wears Sergei's clothes and treats her. The kid asks him to build a tank on his wounds, as he wants to grow up to be a soldier. Wounded soldiers also talk to the child. Sergei is fascinated by the commander's gun and his badge. The commander also answers the question of the little boy, and after taking out the bullets, lets him play with his pistol. Sergei shows him a tank drawn on his stomach and claims to be a soldier himself. The boy is recovering very quickly. Nurse Katya asked the commander to let the boy stay with the battalion. But he disagrees, claiming it would not be secure. He wants to send Sergei to an orphanage. The soldiers spend all their free time with Sergei. Many people come to meet him throughout the day. They bring food for him sent by his household and also let him play with their binoculars. After this, we see that one day, a soldier goes to the commander and asks him to let the boy stay with the battalion. All the soldiers have become close to the child, and they consider it their own. And he says that his presence removes the weight of war from his chest. But the commander says that the boy will have to be sent to the orphanage for his safety. And the next day, the enemy attacks, and several soldiers are injured. and a vehicle arrives to take Sergei to the orphanage. And the commander reports this to the child and gives him a wooden pistol as a gift. The boy hugged her in return, claiming that he was scared for the commander's safety. The commander then changes his mind, and he asks Sergei to be with the soldiers as his son. That night, the soldiers bring the little soldier clothes for the little boy, and the next morning the commander wakes Sergei and gives him the clothes. He wears them and runs around, and he looks just like a real soldier. As the child runs around, the Germans launch an air raid on the battalion, and the soldiers quickly escort Sergei to a safe place. And the number of soldiers wounded in battle grows rapidly. Sergei wants to make himself useful, so he gives water to the thirsty soldiers. One of them asks him to read a letter sent by his family, because they have blindfolds. The little boy wants to help them, but he doesn't know how to read. He takes the letter and tries to make the things written on it, and says that the soldier's cow is safe back home. And then the soldier says that he does not have a cow. The other constables ask him to continue the story and laugh. He reads everyone's letters, and that's what makes them happy. In the next screen, we see Katya and the commander talking. Both seem attracted to each other, but no one confesses their feelings. After this, the boy then observes that a soldier's station has been destroyed due to the attack. And the commander teaches him to take off his hat to pay respect to the dead soldier. The next day, he tells the commander to give him a mission, and he is given the task of distributing letters among the soldiers. He completes his work efficiently and even gets the soldiers to dance for him. The next day, Sergei walks a little further away from the base with his binoculars. As he is playing with it, he sees someone's leg moving through a haystack. He then goes back to the battalion and tells the soldiers about him. The soldiers doubt his words, but still, go with the boy. When they reach near the haystack, they see 2 Germans there. And those people are the spies hiding below. The detectives are then arrested, and the child is praised for his intelligence. That night, the commander shows Sergei the legal papers for adoption. He is now officially the father of the child. Sergei is aware of the commander's feelings for Katya. After this, both of them go to Katya, but the 2 see her talking to a different man, and upon seeing him assume that she is interested in someone else. The Germans then attack the base again. This time, Sergei supplies ammunition to the soldiers in the front line. He helps the soldiers with all his might. But the soldiers there ordered him to go back to the shed because it is very dangerous outside here. When he arrives at the shed, he sees the commander and the others panicking, because the phone's connection with the colonel is lost. A soldier is sent to fix the broken wires, and Sergei follows the soldier and sees that he is mortally wounded. He asks the dying soldier how he can fix the wires, and he fixes it. The connection then comes back and more troops are called in. Similarly, a 6-year-old girl saved everyone's life. Later, we see the commander and Katya talking on the bank of the river. The commander finally confesses his love for her and asks her to become Sergei's mother. But before she can say anything, a soldier comes up to her and gives a letter to the commander, in which it is said that they have been sent from this base. The next day, all the soldiers leave with Sergei for their new base. But, on the way, they encounter a mine that blows up some of their vehicles. And the commander gets hurt, and the group's soldiers who were close to Sergei die in the explosion. He cries and hugs the commander. They take the wounded with them and continue their journey to their new base. When they finally reach the second base, they are met by the commander's leader, General. He is also impressed by the child's ambition, and congratulates the commander for being such a smart child. The next day, he is honored, and he promises to save his country, and the general gives him his badge. One night, their base is brutally attacked, and the commander is trapped under the ruins. Sergei cries for his father and tries to save him. He calls the other soldiers, and those guys finally bring out the commander. The next day, Sergei goes to a wounded commander, and while trying to save the commander, his hand gets injured. The child is now an inseparable part of the team. They have no family with them, and they go to war wherever they go. Here the movie ends and the regiment is seen moving to another base. After this, a voice in the background tells that he also participated in the Battle of Stalingrad and reached Poland with the soldiers. He is known to be the youngest soldier of the present world, and the legendary story of his bravery is now spread all over the world to hear.